We asked this question last season, Jay, and our consensus answer was JOK, and it proved to be right. So I want to ask this question again, entering the 2024 season. For the sake of this discussion, Deshaun Watson is not eligible. This is every other player on the Browns outside of Deshaun Watson. Which Browns player needs to make the biggest jump from 2023 to 2024 in order for the Browns to reach their ultimate goal? Tyvus, you start us off. We'll go around the horn.
For me, I would say I'm going to go somewhere that doesn't get a lot of recognition, but when it's bad, you know. Left tackle, Jed Wills. If Jed Wills don't have a great season at left tackle this year, and Deshaun is running for his life and causing people to get hurt like Jack Conklin or DeJuan Jones on the other side, then the season's going to go to abysmal. You know, it's very hard to be effective in the run game or the passing game if your left tackle is not good. And obviously, before he got hurt last year, he started to play a lot better. Still not to where you want a premier left tackle to be, but it was good enough to get through a lot of games. But he's got to take it another step. It can't be that we have to worry about the left side of the line. Because what that does, if you need help all the time on the left side, it hurts what you can do offensively. But tight end has to be on that side, or we got to have a running back chip. Like, it's hard to get timing going with an offense, and we got to constantly help a spot. So for me, Jed Wills has to have that big jump. Plus, it's a contract year for you anyways. If the Browns ain't going to pay you, somebody need to pay you. You got to be able to get a bag after this season, so you got to play above and beyond yourself. So Jed Wills is my answer.
I actually like that. I was going to go ahead with that one too, but I'm able to pivot and switch on the fly.
Oh, I could have pivoted and switched. You should have told me. I would have went somewhere else. I had another guy.
I got about 2-3 guys.
Okay.
I've got two, and I've got a question before I answer as to whether or not one of them counts.
These two dudes, these are fringe dudes. They're fringe starters. See, I'm going to give you one offense. Elijah Moore, bro. What's going on, bro?
Why you going to do that, though?
Come on, bro. Listen, right now.
That was one of my two.
Elijah Moore, we know, I know what Jerry Jeudy, to me, I already know what Jerry Jeudy going to do. He going to get 1,000. You know, I already know Amari Cooper going to get his 1,000. I need to see, he might get 1,100. That's all he does. Elijah Moore, I need you to bump this right up here up to probably about an 800. If you give me an 840, 830, somewhere in there, but I need your catches to be up. I don't need you to be dropping the ball. I need your yards after contact to be up. You need to be the Wes Welker. You need to be the Julian Edelman. You need to be getting these yards, moving and changing, doing things like that. I need you to be on that. On defense, this is a guy that we don't even talk about. He's the most forgettable starter that we got.
Who?
Juan Thornhill.
Oh, he's not forgettable. I talked about him the other day.
Well, I mean, you got the number one. And when you got here from Kansas City, we thought you was bringing them big plays with you from Kansas City. No. Not just the name and the championship.
He did make several big plays.
Yeah. I need him to be on the field.
That's the number one thing.
I need him to be out there.
Be healthy.
And I need you not to be taking the angles that's terrible. I need you to be you see his angle. You know, I've been watching the film.
He needs a protractor.
His angle game be terrible, Ty, but you know that. You know that. That's how you know I be watching. I done watched all these games already over. I had to get re-indoctrinated with him. I said, that's a bad egg. Come on, Juan. Listen, tackling around the shoulders, stuff like that. Listen,
there's a picture of it.
There
right
it is.
there.
Come on, now you reaching.
Look like he got a hand.
You're reaching right there.
Got a handful of air.
My thing is, if Juan Thornhill can get to a position where he playing like he played at Kansas City, and we can solidify the secondary, that's another way the Browns can get to winning the Super Bowl. They got a lot of potential with Delbert, Thornhill, Ward, Emerson, Newsome. I like Mitchell. I like all them dudes back there. If they can get to a point where they come up and they're in no-fly zone type cats. You know how when a no-fly zone was out there moving around and had them three corners?
They do that.
Do nothing.
They do that. It's
that puts you. When you get to that point, like in Seattle or when you had with Denver, and they can't throw the football, You win championship.
What was he as a calf last year? He was dealing with a calf injury.
Yeah,
A lot of
it was
stuff.
a calf.
And Delpit was a groin.
Yep.
Man, they better be doing some soft tissue and some stretching and some yoga this year.
Yeah,
This
man.
all season.
Prehab.
Yeah.
I hate prehab.
I did too.
You got to stay healthy, though. I mean,
It works.
What question did you have? Because
So-
you still ain't say who I thought.
by the way, Moore's my number 2. If I'm allowed, if my number 1 qualifies.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, I changed.
He does?
Yeah, I changed the rule. You can have 2 now.
No. That's not the question. My answer is Elijah Moore if my real answer doesn't qualify.
Why
Okay.
would he not qualify?
Because he wasn't on the Browns last year.
Okay.
Jerry Jeudy?
Yes.
That counts. That's
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
Jerry Judy's my guy. I don't need middling numbers from Jerry Judy.
Was for him to pan out and you say, all right, I like.
Oh,
the
I
move.
need 1,000 minimum. Like you said, he's going to get a minimum. Oh, no. I need a minimoski of 1,000.
Like just that bare minimum.
That's it. That's 60 yards a game, guys. With
Yeah.
no room in there for a
Yeah.
100-yard game.
Yeah.
I need minimoski 1,200 from him.
1,200.
1,200. You know why?
That's Cooper's number.
This offense is supposed to be juicy.
That is wild too. We're gonna have to strike that from the record, bro. That is true. Y'all gonna have to find a new
I've
name.
never heard an offense referred to as juicy.
It's got a lot of pop to it.
No. You right, Jay. That's crazy. I've never heard nothing in
that's
football
big.
referred to as juicy. Nothing in football.
That's
Not the
almost
locker
off
room.
limits.
Yes, it is. Very.
I've never used the phrase, but I understood what he was saying. So there you go.
Well, I think we all understood. We all understood that what it sounds like is
Yeah.
TNT.
Yeah.
It's going to be explosive.
Exactly.
It's going to be dynamic.
Yes.
You know what, though? I've heard that for 4 years.
Well,
Yeah.
I've heard that for 4 years.
Yeah.
Last year, 2 weeks into
Yeah.
camp, I heard guys that were out there every day, Tyvis, saying, "Oh,
wait a minute.
oh, you're not going to recognize this offense."
Wait a minute.
Jay,
Just-
we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
Okay.
I don't want to dive into that yet, but give me a little more. On
Okay.
Jerry, give me a little more on Jerry Jeudy because that was an answer I think is very reasonable.
Yes, I
And
just
1,200's a lofty goal,
and
but
it is, but you know what? He was that guy coming out of college.
He was.
I'm not asking for him to do something that no one ever expected he was going to do. If it took 4 years for him to get to 1,200, people will forget about the first 3. But if you don't do it eventually, your potential cannot be used in the first sentence to describe a player after he's in the league for 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
Remember with Njoku, I kept saying, guys, potential doesn't cash checks.
It did for him.
It did. And that's why I was a little disappointed that they made him the second or third highest paid tight end in the game.
But did
I
he
said,
pay-
off of what?
Did they
potential.
Did he pay it off for you though?
Yes.
Okay.
Finally.
So, he paid off for you.
But that's the extreme limit. Njoku's been in the league 6 years, guys.
yeah.
Crazy.
Maybe 7. How many years has Njoku been in the league?
I believe
He
7.
got
I'll
in
double check.
17.
Dude has been around forever.
This
So-
will be
And
year 7
finally
for
in
him.
year 7, boom, he pops.
Hey.
I can't have that with Jerry Jeudy.
And we
Well,
can't-
He's got to pop now.
It is 7 years. This will be his
Okay.
8th season coming up.
That's nuts, guys.
and we can't do the same thing with Darius Garland,
No.
but that's another quote.
No, we're going to talk about that, actually.
You're gonna wait me out 8 years. We can't. I'm with you. I gotta have 1,000. Now, if he give me 1,000 and double-digit touchdowns,
That's different, yeah.
now I'll say okay. We'll figure it out. But under no circumstances we can't be doing it's 800.
Do you know what the Browns are expecting him to do? Become WR1.
Yeah.
That's what they're expecting him to
Yeah.
do.
That's what
That's
they
why
paid
they
him,
made
right?
that move.
Yeah.
They made that move because they know that Amari is probably at the apex of his potential, of his
Yes.
production.
Yes.
So they're thinking, handing off the baton. Right now, Amari's wide receiver 1. They've got a guy in the wings who has wide receiver 1 potential. They didn't bring him here to get no 600 or 800 yards.
Yeah, no,
That's
we
going to be
can't.
Elijah Moore part
can't.
2.
We can't.
And that won't be good enough.
He better not get there.
No.
I feel like they're gonna force feed him the ball anyway.
I do
you
too.
got to at least
Spoon fed.
Yeah, like we got to justify the reason making this move.
Show me Juicy.
Even with Elijah
I
Moore.
want to see Juicy.
Even with Elijah Moore, they tried different things to make sure he got yards. And
They
tried
gave
to
him the
make
ball
more.
off the bus.
Yeah, they did everything.
And he still couldn't get yardage.
And
Running around backwards.
it was some more. That's some other things there. But you know what? I respect both of y'all answers. But at the end of the day, my answer beats both of y'all because without me, it doesn't matter what. You can be streaking wide open, but if he ain't got nobody
more than
blocking,
one right answer.
it's over.
Jed Wills is glaring. Like
actually-
Jed Wills can derail. Like there's nothing like an offensive tackle. He can derail every series if he wanted to.
Yeah.
You get a nice little screen pass to Chubb or Deontay Foreman or whatever, and it's we got some laundry bag. Jed Wills was backside.
Yeah.
35 yards from the play with no bearing on the play, but he tackled somebody in the ankles. What are you doing?
We've seen it.
What?
We've seen that happen.
What if I said Jerome Ford?
It's a good answer, I think.
Thank you.
Because somebody's got to become RB1.
Well, I think that. Well, I know Nick Chubb says he wants to be ready week 1. But even if he is ready week 1, I still think it's going to take a while for him to get back to being Nick Chubb because it's a mental thing. You know, you got to get back into the groove of playing.
And they'll nurse him along. They're not going to give him 25 carries a week.
So with that being said, it's still carries out there to be had. And if you think about this Ken Dorsey offense, the running back is the ones that get kind of exiled out of it. But could it be because at the time Buffalo didn't have a really good running back to begin with?
Maybe
that could be a thing. So
is that a chicken or an egg situation?
Yeah. So if Jerome Ford actually got some ability, because it's not like they just asking him to run the ball, they're gonna ask him to catch the ball and all type of things. So he's got to take another jump. Now, don't get me wrong, he had moments last year where he broke some runs. What I did notice is if you go back and watch his top 5 plays from last year, 4 of the 5 plays that he had a long run was out of shotgun. Did you know that?
Well, listen, we talked about that a lot last year, about how the team can still have success running the ball out of shotgun. You don't have to just because you get under center doesn't mean you have to hand off the ball. And just because you're in shotgun doesn't mean you have to throw the ball.
Correct.
But I didn't realize that 4 of his best 5 runs were out of shotgun.
They show his top 5 plays, and I believe 4 of them was out of shotgun.
That's interesting.
Long runs out of shotgun.
This year going to be so interesting because you don't know what they're going to run. Like even when Deshaun Watson was
I just know it's
quarterback,
going to be juicy.
Yeah, they telling me it's all that
Juicy on 3.
Oh my gosh, you can't break the huddle on Juicy. That's crazy, bro.
It's a
That
really
would be hysterical.
it's a
dude.
really
Can you imagine
good
the mic'd
Biggie
up
song.
clips and Hard Knocks?
Oh,
if they start doing that,
Juicy on 3.
Hey, they, to me, I'm looking at it like
that'd be worse than the DB breakdown last year.
that DB breakdown when they did the Temptations backslide.
Yeah, that didn't hit, did it?
That's terrible. Like, and stop wearing all that. Like, listen, for them to be as good as they is or solid, their swag is on the floor. They got wristbands around them. It's crazy.
You gonna cut this out,
Man,
right now.
bro,
when
they out there playing and these DB OGs out there, I'm like, bro, y'all they had to get that nasty 2-2 off of Delpit. The numbers ain't even right. Like,
I don't want to comment on that again. The last time I got
they got a corner with a 0. Like, come on, bro. And then what's the name? Just Newsom has a lot of stuff. Like, I'm like, you a DB, you can't. He got lineman cleats on. Like, he got high tops.
No, he don't.
Like, it looked like he don't.
Lineman cleats.
He got lineman cleats. You know the lineman cleats that be rubber, just rubberized.
I gotta go look it up.
He got them Air Batonios on, bro. Them Air Batonios.
I gotta look that up.
Rubber cleats.
That rubber. They just the road graders.
You not about to do that. I gotta look now. Hold on.
He got a lot of stuff on Tyvus. He's the dude that
it's not.
He got a lot of stuff.
2 years ago.
Yeah, now he want to get recent pictures.
Let me go look.
Let me get a picture off Instagram. No, you saw he got a lot of stuff on.
Yeah, now these is debate.
I do think the Browns should have a swag coordinator, and I think it should be G. Bush.
He got the
D'Anthony Bell, get your boys together.
This
you
man,
came here.
This man got the vape cleat. Now, what I will say is, with the white socks and the black cleats, I don't really.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I don't like
it's
that
either
part.
white on white or black on black. Segregation. And when everybody everybody knows what the segregation down below is. You can't have both at the same time. And he got black cleats with the white. They got to be all black. He got the big white.
He do actually.
What is that? What is those? What are those?
Bro, those look like Johnny Unitas.
Oh my God. Those aren't it. They are not it. Denzel, get your people together. Denzel got
wear the same one.
I don't know. Denzel got a big jersey too. He got the shoulder pads like Bernie had, like the arm.
The 1990s shoulder pads.
The show. I'm like, dang, Denzel, you got Dan Marino.
You not gonna do this. You not gonna keep doing this.
It's true.
I asked the chat, by the way, of your 4 answers, who they thought needed to take the biggest jump.
Yeah.
A very, very close race.
I think all the answers are good.
Hundreds of votes, by the way.
Jerry Jeudy.
Okay.
With 5%, Juan Thornhill. With 12%, Elijah Moore. With 40%, Jerry Jeudy. And with 42%, Jed Wills.
Wow.
So there you go. Jed Wills, the people's choice for the Brown outside of Deshaun Watson, who is ineligible for this, to make the biggest jump from 2023 to 2024 for the Browns to reach their ultimate
I think
goal.
all of those guys, it's important that all those guys make
all
the
of them
biggest
got to
jump.
be better this year.
It's funny, the 4 I had written down, plus Jerome Ford was my outside candidate, were the 4 we mentioned in Jerome Ford. So I think we nailed that
Now,
on the head.
if you had mentioned which has to make the biggest jump in the second half of the season, I would have said Myles Garrett.
I would have told you, and then I'd have followed that and said Zadarius Smith.
Whoa, that's another one we completely missed.
Yeah.
I know he got a haircut, Zadarius, but hopefully that come with 5 sacks. I need.
He got a coupon for 5 free sacks.
Like
with
that's
that
like brought that in. I know you got your theatrics. I see you rolling around. You do your.
We definitely missed Zadarius Smith. But
We let him completely off the
He
hook.
definitely
We did.
Well,
We
the reason I didn't have him on my preliminary list is I just think Alex Wright's going to end up surpassing him on the depth chart. And Alex Wright is a guy who you also could have considered here.
Yeah, no, you
to take
might
a
be
massive
right on
jump.
that.
I am
I
all in
liked-
on the Alex Wright bandwagon.
like-
I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm all in on the double O bandwagon. I think that Zadarius provides versatility. The best thing about him is that he can slide down on obvious pass downs. He can be your D tackle as a pass rusher.
Yeah.
What's crazy is we had to take Deshaun Watson out of this conversation.
Right.
Or it wouldn't have been a question.
Actually, to be truthful, if they had this, if we had a rule, if we had a no Deshaun Watson week, where no questions we asked had anything to do with Deshaun Watson,
That'd be hard.
That'd be hard. That's crazy. Like, because he's the answer for everything.
He really is.
All right, guys,
and he
we're
is
gonna
the
move
answer.
on.
Yes.
Talk a little Cavs here.